She stood there like she was handing me takeout, not tearing my whole life apart. "I'm done, Marcus." Lana's voice was calm, too calm. "My dad left me everything. I don't need you anymore." I stared at the packet in her hand. Thick stack of legal papers. No warning, no fight. Just a clean kill. Name's Marcus Whitaker. I'm 56, been in IT sales for almost 30 years, based out of Macon, Georgia, where the air's humid enough to chew, and everybody's business is everybody's business. Thought I had life nailed down. Steady paycheck, decent truck, small paid-off house, and a wife I figured gave a damn about me. Then came that morning. Lana in our living room, hair perfect, makeup flawless, like she was dressed for brunch, not a breakup. She said it again, slower this time. "I don't need you anymore." Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I didn't move. I couldn't. My brain felt like it short-circuited. She held up the papers. "You were just filler," she said with a little smirk. "Someone to lean on until the real money hit." I felt it right then, like a gut punch without the swing. That smirk burned into my head. She wasn't crying, wasn't mad, just smug, like she'd finally crossed a finish line. I didn't yell, didn't throw a thing, just walked over, took the folder, opened it. No surprises inside. She'd done her homework. Filed in Fulton County, all neat and legal. "You said you loved me," I muttered. "People say all kinds of things when they're bored," she said, not even blinking. "My dad's estate is worth $500 million. I don't have to pretend anymore. $500 million. I'd heard rumors the old man was loaded, but $500 million? She said it like it was pocket change. I drove straight to the Waffle House off Eisenhower Parkway, ordered black coffee and a plate of hash browns I didn't touch. Just sat there, staring at that damn signature line in my head. That was the same way I reacted when Janine died. She was 39, worked at a local architecture firm in Macon. Quiet, kind, loved humming while she worked in the backyard garden. We had a dog back then too. Juno, golden retriever, sweet as syrup. One Friday, I came home and saw I had a missed call, voicemail from her boss. I still remember the words. "There was an accident on site, Marcus. You need to call me as soon as you can." Scaffolding gave out. Whole frame collapsed. They said she died instantly. I didn't believe it until I saw the site with my own eyes. Her folks, Harold and May, met me at the hospital. They didn't cry loud, didn't point fingers, just hugged me and said they knew she loved me. Couple weeks later, her company sent over a settlement, life insurance plus a payout, 400 grand. I stared at the check like it was dipped in poison. Let it sit in a drawer for 3 weeks before I finally deposited it. I tried to give half to her brother, Simon, 20-something, fresh out of school, broke as hell. He shoved the envelope back at me. "She loved you," he said. "She'd want you to be okay. Don't do this guilt crap. Just take it." So I did. And it sat in my account like a ghost. Didn't spend a dime. Couldn't. I was 52, alone, going to work, going home, and talking to nobody. The house felt like a storage unit for old memories. Her clothes stayed in the closet a whole year. I'd hear her laugh when I walked past the hydrangeas in the backyard. Then came Lana. We met officially at a regional tech mixer in Savannah. She wore this red blazer that made her stand out like a damn signal flare. Hair done up, heels clicking across the floor like she owned the joint. She walked right up and said, "You don't belong in this room." I blinked. "Excuse me? You look like you actually work. Everyone else here just talks." That's how it started. She was sharp, funny. The kind of woman who could talk a banker into handing over their pin without realizing it. I was so used to being overlooked since Janine died that Lana's full focus energy felt like a spotlight. We started having lunch whenever we were in the same city. Talked about sales strategy, back-end problems, crappy vendor delays. She kept eye contact like it was a competition. Laughed loud, always had a new story. After about a month, I told her about Janine. Not the whole thing, just enough for her to know I wasn't fresh off the market. She didn't flinch, didn't drop the mood. A few weeks later, she told me about her dad, Grant Wallace. Said his name like it should have meant something to me. He ran commercial property deals all over the Southeast. Malls, apartment complexes, strip centers. Big money, long game, old school style. She said her mom ran off when she was 16. Packed a suitcase and vanished, Lana said. biting into a club sandwich. Left me with a drunk and a checkbook. Her tone was light, but her hands trembled a little when she grabbed her Diet Coke. Men are weak, she said once. Most of them just disappoint you. I should have walked away then. I should have seen the red flags waving right in front of my damn face. But I didn't. She listened like no one else had in years. She'd lean in close when I talked. Remember little details. Text me during the day just to say she saw a dumb meme that reminded her of me. It felt good. Dangerous good. Sometimes she'd get quiet, though. Stare off when we talked about family. Said she didn't trust people, that everyone had an angle. I chalked it up to baggage. We all have it, but her edges started showing more the longer we dated. She'd pick little fights. Nothing huge, just stuff like how I folded laundry or the way I always double-checked receipts. She'd laugh it off later, but I felt the bite under her smile. Still, I ignored it, told myself she was just independent, strong. A year in, she booked us a weekend at a fancy resort in Asheville. Spa, wine, the whole deal. We were sitting out on the balcony after dinner, wrapped in blankets, drinking overpriced scotch, when she said it. "Marry me." I looked at her. Didn't say anything right away. She raised an eyebrow. "You scared I'll leave like the last one?" That one stung, but I swallowed it. "No," I said. "Let's do it." And just like that, I handed my future to a woman I barely knew. The Monday after we got back from Asheville, she packed her things and said we were moving. No discussion, no planning, just, "My dad's place has plenty of room. He needs help now." I didn't argue. We loaded her BMW and my pickup and drove 2 hours north to Alpharetta. The house looked like it belonged on a damn postcard. Brick columns, wraparound porch, 4 chimneys, iron gate out front. 10 acres, easy. It had that old South feel, like it wanted to remind you who ran things. Inside, it was even worse. Crystal chandeliers, floors you could eat off, oil paintings of people who looked like they'd owned railroads or slaves. I stood in the front hallway, boots squeaking, and felt like a trespasser. "Don't scuff the hardwood," Lana said, tossing her keys in a silver bowl by the stairs. Her dad, Mr. Wallace, was waiting in the sunroom. Thin, silver hair, a wool vest even though it was 70 degrees out. He looked me over like he was sizing up a horse. "You're the one," he said. "Sir? The one she's dragging home?" He chuckled. That was the thing about him. He had a dry, clipped way of talking. Didn't waste a word, but everyone landed. The first few weeks were smooth. Lana quit her job, said she wanted to be there for her father, cooked real meals, kept the place from turning into a museum. She'd bring him soup, adjust his meds, sit and talk with him every afternoon. I was impressed, honestly. I kept working. Set up a remote office in one of the back rooms. Drove into Atlanta for client meetings twice a week. Logged into webinars, hit my quotas. Paid rent by handling the utilities and groceries. Not that they needed my money. Mr. Wallace and I started talking more. He was sharper than I expected. Well-read, plugged in, curious about tech. "You ever look into crypto?" he asked one night while we played chess. "Only enough to stay away from it." He grinned. Smart man. He told me stories, old deals, market crashes, friends who turned into enemies. Said real wealth wasn't flashy. It was quiet, disciplined. I listened. I learned. He liked that. "You've got an honest way about you," he said once, nodding at me from across the board. "Reminds me of a man I used to trust." Didn't say who, didn't need to. Meanwhile, Lana started shifting. Less time with him, more time watching reality TV in the media room. She started sleeping late, ordering takeout, snapping at the help when her iced coffee wasn't cold enough. Her dad noticed. "She's never been good with limits," he said one night, while Lana was out getting her nails done. Even as a kid, spend, spend, spend. Always needed more. He looked me straight in the eye. "Don't let her burn what you've built." That line stuck with me. I didn't say anything, just nodded. But from that point on, I started paying closer attention. Her spending, her moods, the way she looked at her dad's checkbook like it was a waiting room ticket. That house may have looked like a dream, but underneath the polish, something was rotting, and I could smell it. 3 months in, she quit pretending. No more cooking, no more pills lined up for her dad, no more pretending she gave a damn. Lana stopped lifting a finger and started living in silk robes like we were on vacation in Dubai. We hired help, a nurse during the day and a housekeeper 3 times a week. Lana called it delegating. I called it what it was, giving up. She'd sleep till 10, then spend the day in the sunroom with her laptop, clicking away like she was running a hedge fund. In reality, she was browsing designer sites and liking influencer posts about manifesting wealth. Then my bank pinged me. 20 grand gone, pulled from my personal savings, not our shared account. I stared at the notification like it had to be some kind of error. I walked into the living room. She was stretched out on the couch, glass of white wine in one hand, robe barely tied. "Lana," I said, "did you move money from my account?" She didn't even look up from her phone. "Yeah, chill out. It's just some upgrades." "Upgrades to what?" She finally met my eyes and smirked. "To our life." Next day, a brand new silver Mercedes coupe pulled into the driveway. She tossed me the keys like it was a gift. Custom leather seats, black rims, the whole thing smelled like money I didn't spend. "You drive a pickup," she said, flipping her sunglasses down. We needed something nicer. I didn't touch the keys. Mr. Wallace saw it from the upstairs window. He didn't say a word that day, but the next morning, he asked me to meet him in his study. "She thinks I'm dying with a full wallet," he said, sliding a thick manila envelope across his desk. "She's wrong." He'd already put a hold on the trust, froze it up tight. "I'm not signing over a damn cent while she acts like a queen," he said. "You keep working. You keep your head down, and if things go sideways, you use what's in here." I opened the envelope later. Legal documents, account numbers. One folder labeled contingency plan. It had my name on it. That night, Lana went nuclear. Found out the trust was locked and exploded like a lit match in a fireworks shop. Slamming doors, throwing pillows, pacing the hallway barefoot. "He's a control freak," she screamed, pointing toward the study. "He's punishing me because he's old and bitter." Then she turned to me, eyes wide, hands shaking. "You did this." You've been whispering in his ear. I didn't answer. I just walked into the guest room and shut the door. From that night on, I slept alone. She stopped talking to her dad for a week. Didn't come down for breakfast. Wouldn't even sit in the same room with him. Said she was setting boundaries. Meanwhile, I kept showing up. To work, to Mr. Wallace's check-ins, to the mess she left in her wake. I took him to his doctor appointments. I sorted out the bills. I made sure the staff didn't quit. One afternoon, he waved me into the den while she was out getting her eyebrows done. He was sitting in his recliner, oxygen tank hissing soft beside him. "She doesn't know what's coming," he said, "and I don't want her to." He slid another folder toward me. No label, just thick. "You'll know when to use it." I nodded. Took it without a word. In that house, silence said more than shouting ever could. Next morning, I was pouring coffee when Mr. Wallace buzzed the intercom from upstairs. "Study." Now his voice was low, winded but sharp. I set the mug down and headed up. He was at his desk, hunched over a stack of folders, breathing slow through the nasal cannula. His hands were trembling. He didn't look up when I walked in. "Close the door." I did. He pointed at the chair across from him. "Sit." Then he sat back and stared at me a long moment, like he was trying to measure what I could handle. "You ever believe in legacy, Marcus?" "I guess. Depends what kind." He nodded. "That's the right answer." He leaned forward, opened a file, and pushed it toward me. Blueprints, financial statements, aerial renderings of buildings that didn't exist yet. "That's what 500 million looks like when it's tied to bullshit," he said. I flipped through the pages. The title across the top read, Eastland Horizon Project. "It was supposed to be a multi-use complex," he said, coughing hard into his fist. "Apartments, retail, office space, everything. I started it in 2019. The pandemic wrecked it 6 months later." He wiped his mouth with a handkerchief. "I borrowed against every property I owned to try and finish it. Bet on the rebound. The rebound didn't come." He looked at me, eyes sharp under heavy lids. "That 500 million? It's collateral, debt, smoke." I sat back in the chair, heart thudding. "You're telling me it's gone?" "Not yet," he said, "but it will be. Forbearance ends next quarter. Banks will seize it all, foreclose, liquidate, maybe jail some poor bastard on my development team. Lana doesn't know. She thinks I'm sitting on a gold mine." He laughed bitterly, then wheezed. She can't be trusted, Marcus. She never could. Always thought money made her important. Never learned that earning it was the point I kept my mouth shut. He wasn't wrong. He reached into a drawer and pulled out a small envelope. Inside was a single-page document. Routing numbers, account info. A balance in the corner. $80,000. I scraped together what I could. It split 4 ways. My driver, the housekeeper, the nurse, and you. I looked at the paper, then back at him. Why me? Because you showed up. Because you didn't try to manipulate me. Because you didn't pretend to care. You just did. His voice cracked on that last line, but he pushed through it. You ever been proud of someone you didn't raise? That's what this is. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't. He sat back, coughed again, deeper this time. I'm not going to make it, Marcus. I know it. I feel it. My body's shutting down, and she's downstairs picking out her next damn handbag. He looked toward the door, like he could see through the walls. Don't tell her. Not yet. Let her bury me thinking she won. I nodded. He closed the folder and pushed it back toward himself. Handle the details when the time comes. You'll know how, a week later, he died in his sleep. No noise. No struggle. Just gone. I found him that morning during my usual check-in. His hands were cold, his mouth slightly open, eyes shut like he'd drifted off thinking about numbers. I called the nurse, called the lawyer, called the funeral home. I didn't call Lana until it was all handled. She was at a spa retreat in Asheville again. Didn't even pick up. Just texted, "Ugh, can you deal with everything until I get back?" He'd want it clean. I deleted the message. That night, I went through his study, boxed up the blueprints, the balance sheets, the warnings he'd left behind. I locked the envelope with the $80,000 info in my file cabinet, and I didn't say a damn word to Lana. She'd find out soon enough. 2 days after we buried her father, Lana walked into the kitchen wearing black leggings, a white cashmere hoodie, and zero emotion. She dropped a manila envelope on the counter like it was nothing. "Here," she said, sliding it toward me. "Clean break." I opened it. Divorce papers, already signed on her end. She leaned against the marble island, arms crossed, mouth curled into this smug little half smile, like she was delivering good news. "Dad's money's mine now. I don't need you, country boy." I looked up at her, but I didn't say a word and walked over to the junk drawer, pulled out a pen, and signed my name across every damn page. No hesitation. When I was done, I slid them back across to her. "Good luck, Lana." Her smile twitched for half a second, like she didn't expect me to go that easy. I walked upstairs, grabbed my bags, already packed, and carried them out to the truck. She stood on the porch, arms still crossed, watching me like I was the one who lost. I didn't look back, not once. I drove until I found a no-name roadside inn outside Macon, paid cash for 2 nights, and kept my phone face down on the nightstand. I didn't eat much, didn't sleep well, just sat in the dark thinking about the old man, the project, the warning signs. Third morning, around 10:15, the phone lit up. Lana, incoming call. I let it ring once, twice, then picked up. No hello. "What did you do?" she shrieked. "Why is the trust locked? Where's the money?" I waited, let her scream. Then I said it, calm as a lake in winter. He tied up the entire fund. Every last dollar's collateral on a dead project. She went silent. I could hear her breathing, sharp, panicked, shallow. "That's not possible," she whispered. He promised." "No, he didn't. He just didn't tell you the truth. You're lying." "Nope. The only liquid money left was $80,000. He divided it up, staff, nurse, driver, and me." She gasped like she'd been slapped. "You got 40, I said. "That's it. No trust, no estate. Nothing left but debt." She broke, started sobbing so hard it came out in hiccups. "This can't be happening." I said nothing, just let the silence sit. "You knew," she finally choked out. "You knew and you let me." "Yeah, I knew," she screamed, loud, raw, like something cracked open. I ended the call, tossed the phone on the motel bed, grabbed my truck keys, and went out for breakfast like it was any other Tuesday. That mansion, that designer wardrobe, those Instagram perfect plans she had, all worthless now. $40,000 and a Mercedes with monthly payments she couldn't cover. I could already see the unraveling, and I wasn't sticking around to watch. By the time I hit the edge of Bibb County, I figured she'd already started burning through it. 40 grand doesn't last long when you think you're rich. First came the spending: new luggage, boutique hotel rooms, a spa weekend in Charleston. I heard she dropped close to $10,000 in 4 days trying to reset her energy. Then she tried to sue the bank for withholding inheritance. The lawyer laughed her out of the room. The money was gone in 2 weeks. Poof, just like that. Mutual friends started reaching out, cautiously, like I might explode if they said the wrong thing. Hey, just checking in. Have you talked to Lana? Nope. And I didn't plan to. One of her old coworkers told me she tried to get her job back. Walked into the office like nothing had happened, smiling, asking for her old title. The director didn't even offer her a chair. She'd burned that bridge the day she quit over email and told half the staff they were beneath her. Last I heard, she was living above a vape shop in Decatur, renting a single room from a guy named Rick who ran the place. Said she was starting some kind of online business. Nobody could tell me what the business was. She called me once. Blocked number. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Marcus, I messed up. Can we talk? I deleted it. Didn't even finish the message. Just pressed down until the screen asked me if I was sure. Yeah, I was sure. Her dad's estate was seized within 60 days. Bank took everything. The house, the land, the cars, even the stupid stone lions by the gate. They put a sign out front that said, "Foreclosure auction," in bold red letters. The Eastland Horizon project never got finished. The site still sits half-built off Interstate 20. Concrete shell, broken fencing, weeds growing up through the asphalt, like a skeleton of a dream that never made it out of the ground. I went back once, just to see it. Walked the edge of the lot in my boots in silence. Thought about the old man, what he tried to build, what he tried to protect. He left me a few things: a handwritten letter, that small cut of the cash, and 3 vintage guitars he'd kept locked in a storage room. I sold 2 of them to a private collector in Tennessee. It was enough for a down payment. Found a small cabin near Lake Oconee. 2-bed, 1-bath, porch out front. No HOA. Quiet. Trees everywhere. Neighbors who wave but don't pry. The 3rd guitar? I kept it. Hung it on the wall above the fireplace. Not because I play. I don't. Because when I look at it, I remember who actually gave a damn. Been about a year since I walked out of that house. I'm still in sales, still running the same accounts, still fixing the same client screw-ups. But now, I leave the office at 5 sharp. No late calls, no chasing leads that ain't worth the time. Got a rescue dog named Nash. Part lab, part something else with ears too big for his head. He's loud, clumsy, sleeps like a rock, and doesn't care if I burn the toast. My kind of company. The cabin's nothing fancy. 2 beds, no dishwasher, screen porch that squeaks when you open it. But it's quiet. It's mine. There's a gravel driveway, and I don't see another porch light when the sun goes down. Just trees, crickets, peace. Some nights I sit out back with a beer and just breathe. Watch the trees sway. Think about how close I came to handing my whole damn life over to someone who saw me as a stepping stone. Lana didn't love me. She loved the idea of having a fallback. But her dad, he saw me. Not for money, not for status. Just saw the kind of man I tried to be. That's what stuck. I still got the check he left me, the 40 grand. It's folded in a plain envelope, tucked in the back of my sock drawer, under an old Braves cap and a box of receipts I never file. I haven't touched it, not out of pride, out of respect. He didn't owe me a thing, but he gave it anyway. Same way he gave his time, his trust, and that quiet warning when I needed it most. Every time I open that drawer, I hear his voice clear as day. Don't let her drag you down. I didn't. I got out clean, and I sleep real easy these days.